All right, friends, welcome to Advent Week 4. We are in Isaiah again today. As we're reading through the passages from the Revised Common Lectionary, we're translating through those together in Greek. We also have a passage from Isaiah and a passage from Matthew that we've been translating through together. And today we actually go backwards a little bit. We've been moving forwards through the book of Isaiah, and this time we go back to Isaiah chapter 7 and read. In this passage that we're translating today, there is a really famous passage that gets applied to Jesus a lot. But we're going to read a little bit before and a little bit after, as the Revised Common Lectionary suggests, and then we'll jump to Matthew here in just a little bit, okay? But let's go ahead and read and translate Isaiah chapter 7, verses 10 to 16. This is also a little bit more of a narrative section rather than a prophetic section like we've done in the past, so it might be a little bit easier for us, okay? But here we go, verse 10. Kai prasatheta kurias lalesai to akaz legon. And the Lord literally put to speak. We would probably just say like came to speak or took to speaking or something like that. And the Lord took to speaking to Ahaz, saying, verse 11, Aitesai seauto semeon parakuriu theusu, eis bathas eis hupsas. Okay? Ask for yourself a sign from the Lord your God in the depth or in the height. Okay? Either high or low, top or bottom, in or out. Ask for a sign, right? That's what's going on here, kind of in this attack on Israel here. That's what the conversation is about here. Verse 12. Kai epen akaz ume aiteso ud ume peraso kurion. And Ahaz says, surely I will not ask, nor surely will I not test the Lord. Surely I will not ask for a sign, and surely I will not test the Lord. Okay, in this conversation back and forth. Verse 13. Kai epen ekusate de oikas Dawid, me mikron humin agona, parakain anthropois, kai post curio parakete agona. And he said, ask now, house of David. Me mikron, it is not a small thing for you all there, plural, to cause a quarrel or to pick a fight, okay? To cause a quarrel with humans or with mortals. It's not a small thing for you to, notice the question mark here. Is it not a small thing for you to pick a fight with a mortal? And how are you picking a fight with the Lord? Okay? So it's no small thing to, fight with humans, but you're going to fight with God? You're going to disagree with God? That's kind of the question that God's asking in there, okay? Verse 14. Dia tuta dose kurias autas humin semeon, edu he parthanos en gastri, hexe, kai texatai, huion, kai kaleses, ta anima autu, Emmanuel. Some famous words in there. On account of this, the Lord himself will give to you a sign. Behold, the virgin in her belly, in her stomach, in her womb, will have and will give birth to a son. And his name will be called Emmanuel, which is God with us in Hebrew, right? This is the Greek transliteration, and his name will be called Emmanuel, okay? Notice this is talking specifically about a sign for Ahaz to get a resolution about his, the struggle of, Israel with Syria and that sort of thing. That's kind of the immediate fulfillment of what's going on here. Of course, this gets understood later to be talking about Jesus, right? Verse 15. Buturan kai meli fagatai prin e genonai auton e pra elisthai panera exlexitai ta agathon. Butter and honey he will eat before he knows to choose evil, he will choose good. Okay. And verse 16. Diati prin e genonai ta paidian agathon e kakan apethe paneria tu eklexasthai ta agathon kai katalethesetai he ge hain su fabe apa prosopu ton dua basaleon. Because before the child knows good or evil, he defiles evil in order to choose what is good. And the land will be abandoned, which you, in fear, from before the two kings, or the face of the two kings, from the face of the two kings, or before the two kings. Okay? So this is that sign. The birth of this child that will be remarkable will be called God with us, will choose good from a very early age. Okay? So that is Isaiah chapter 7, verses 10 to 16. This famous passage about the virgin being with child, and his name will be called Emmanuel. All right, let's jump over to Matthew. All right, and here we are in Matthew chapter 1, starting at verse 18, right after the genealogy of Jesus in Matthew chapter 1, going down to verse 25. And here we go. Tu de Iesu Christu he genesis hutos ein. Menestu theses tes metras autu, Marias to Iosef, prin e sunekthen, autus hurethe en gastri ekusa ek pneumatas hagiu. The birth of Jesus Christ was thusly, or was like this, and thus was the birth of Jesus Christ. His mother, Mary, being betrothed to Joseph, or was betrothed to Joseph, but before they could come together, she found having in her stomach from the Holy Spirit. Okay? So before they could consummate the relationship, she was found to be pregnant from the Holy Spirit. Okay? Verse 19. Iosef de ha aner autes, de kaias on kai me thelon autain, diegmatisai, ebuethe lathra apalusai autain. And Joseph, her husband, okay, being righteous and not wanting her to suffer shame, resolved or wanted quietly to divorce her, or to release her, or to really abandon might be an interesting translation there, but it's talking about divorce, right? Now, notice this, right? She's presumably breaking the law here. In his mind, she's breaking the law. She's sleeping with somebody else, getting pregnant. And it's interesting, law here would call in the first century, for, this to be made public and, certain recompense to be carried out, certainly bring her much shame and everything. Like, that's what the law would call for. But notice that it equates Joseph's righteousness, being a righteous man, with a fair man, a just man, with not wanting her to suffer public disgrace. Isn't that interesting? It's not, well, because Joseph was super righteous, he followed the law to the T. No, it's like, there's love is a higher law, as you two would say, right? So it's interesting, that kind of reading between the lines there in Matthew. Verse 20. Tauta de autou enthumethentas idu angelas kuriou kat hanar ephane auto legon Iosef huias David me fabethes parlabain Marian tain gunaika su tagar en aute genathan ek pneumatas esten hagiu. Okay, it's kind of a long verse. And while he was pondering these things, this is a genitive absolute here, okay? So we have a genitive participle with a genitive pronoun, usually at the beginning of a sentence, usually a temporal, a time element, right? Concurrent time. So while he was pondering these things, or considering these things, behold, an angel of the Lord appeared during a dream to him, saying, Joseph, son of David, do not fear to take Mary as your wife, for in her is conceived, or what is conceived in her is from the Holy Spirit. Okay? Verse 21. Texatai de huion kai kalases ta anima autou iesun, autas gar sose tan laan autou apaton hamartion auton. And she will bear a son, and you will call his name Jesus. For he will save his people from their sin. He will save his people from their sin. Verse 22. Tuta de halan geganen hina plerothe ta wraithen hupa kuriou dia tu prophetu legantas. And all of this happened in order that the word of the Lord through the prophet may be fulfilled, saying, let me get down here to the verse 23, which you'll recognize. Idu he parthenos en gastri hexe kai texatai huion kai kalesusen ta anima autou Emmanuel ha esten meth ermanu amanon meth hamon ha theos. Okay. Behold, the virgin has in her stomach and will give birth to a son. And notice this, they will call his name Emmanuel. Previously it was, and you will call, remember in Isaiah, you will call his name Emmanuel. And here it's they will call. Kind of an interesting change of person and number there, right? Which is being interpreted God with us, okay? Or which means God with us. Emmanuel is Hebrew word. This is Greek, and so Matthew is telling his maybe non-Hebrew speakers what that means. Verse 24. Egerthes de ha Iosef apatu humnu epoiesen hos pras etaxen auto ha angelas kuriou kai parlaben tain gunaika autou. And Joseph got up from his sleep. He did as the angel of the Lord commanded him and took Mary as his wife, is the assumed there, right? Then verse 25. Kai uk eginoskin autain heos hu eteken huion kai ekalesen ta anima autu iesun. And he did not know her until the time which a son was born. She bore a son. Okay? Once again, euphemism there for, consummation of the relationship. He did not know her until the son was born. And he called his name Jesus. Okay? And that is the beginning of the Christmas story in Matthew. Of course, we can see the Isaiah counterpart from before. Good stuff, guys. Happy holidays. Happy Advent. I hope you enjoy looking at these classic passages of the time in Greek. I certainly do. I think it's a lot of fun. We can, of course, read them in English, but reading them in Greek, for me, is just so much better, so much more fun, richer. So thanks for joining me to do that. God bless you. Happy holidays. We'll talk to you soon. Biblical Greek Made Easy. Subscribe. Come learn Greek with us, okay? God bless.